Hello and welcome in. It is the AMP Podcast, Season 1, Episode 5. Today's episode is titled The Games That People Play. Joining me here around the table are your hosts, Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate, and Justin Humphreys of Humphreys Homes. My name is James Minter with Buckeye Media Services, and it's going to be my job to keep these guys in line and moving forward with everything we got to talk about. We do have a lot to cover. And the best website to use for the AMP Podcast is agentmentorshipplatform.com. There's a lot of information that you'll be able to find there that we'll be covering with each episode and throughout the season. And truthfully, the AMP Podcast is really an extension of the AMP program, the Agent Mentorship Platform. Our topics every week and the content you'll find on the website is going to deal a lot with real estate, whether it's buying, selling, investing. It truly is a podcast about real estate, real life, and anything and everything in between. Our sponsors this week and for Season 1, Griffith Insurance Group, Red One Realty, and Vault Title. Gentlemen, are you ready?
Yes, thanks for having us in, James. Appreciate this.
So this week's show is titled Games People Play. We'll get to that, but I do like to kick off each episode with, just some getting to know you kind of things. Kind of a rapid fire, if you do that at networking groups, maybe. This was sparked from a rapid fire this week, all centered around Groundhog Day. You guys seen that? You familiar with it, right?
Yep.
It's actually one of the first movies I saw with my wife on one of our first dates. And the funny thing is, if you've not seen that movie, and you guys have, so you know what this is all about, but halfway through it, fell asleep, probably slept for 20 minutes. I guess she tried to wake me up a couple of times, but, I woke up and I had not missed a thing, obviously. And it really is one of my favorite Bill Murray movies. And so this rapid fire leads me to this as it relates to Groundhog Day. You find a time capsule. It allows you to relive one day of your life. Which day of your life would you want to relive? Going to start with you, Justin.
The first one that comes to mind would be my birthday. It was probably 2014. Myself and Ashley and two other couples, our best friends, went down to the Outer Banks. My birthday's on May 2nd, and we got there on the 1st. So May 2nd, we were North Carolina, Outer Banks at the beach, had a big beach house, and, it was a perfect beach day. So we hung out by the pool, made some margaritas, went down to the beach, played some, sand volleyball, stuff like that, and came back and just kind of hung out and partied all night. And that would be a day I could live over and over again and have no problem with it.
Very good. Mark?
So you want one?
Yes, the one day in your life that you would love to relive all over again.
My wedding day, October 18th, 1986. I would relive that day over and over and over again with my lovely wife, Erin. Had a blast. I don't know that anything could have gone any better. Got married at St. Paul's in Westerville, and then had our little reception in what used to be, I think you're familiar with this, it was a Veterans Hall right there on State Street. The Armory, that was it. And it's now been converted to something else, but we had a great time there, and then spent the weekend downtown. That was our honeymoon, so to speak, but just a fantastic day with my wife and our family.
You posted a picture of your wedding day not too long ago on Facebook. So anybody that wants to see how big Mark's mustache was at that time in 1986, please go and check out his Facebook page and take a look at that wedding photo, because it is a hoot.
Yes.
You guys look great. It looked like a great time.
Oh, we had a blast.
And I have been privy to be a part of some of those Dandrea weddings, and they all have a good time until the wee hours of the morning. It is the AMP Podcast, part of the Agent Mentorship Platform. Now, outside of this podcast and what you can find online at agentmentorshipplatform.com, they have a lot of training that goes on there at the facilities of Red One there in Westerville. We'll cover a lot of that over the weeks ahead and throughout the program. And whether you're a Red One Realty agent or just a person just getting involved in real estate or considering a career in real estate, they even give you an opportunity to audit some of those classes, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later as well. Now, before we go any further, gentlemen, let's just share your contact information. As we've said on the episodes prior, you guys are always making yourselves available, not just for the agents that you guys have through Red One Realty, but anybody that is interested with real estate and or possibly becoming an agent. So let's start with giving out some of your personal contact information. Doctor, we'll begin with you.
Thank you, James. Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate with Red One Realty and founder of the AMP platform. You can reach me at 614-395-6275 Or my email address is doctorofrealestate, the numeral 1 at gmail.com, all spelled out. DoctorRealestate, the numeral 1 at gmail.com.
Hopefully you cut all that. There will be a test at the end.
Absolutely.
And Justin?
Yeah, and Justin Humphreys of Humphreys Homes and one of your AMP leaders here. You can find me. You can call or text me at 740-275-1277. My email is justin@humphreys-homes.com. And you can find both of us at agentmentorshipplatform.com, where you can find more information about the AMP program and connect with any of the leaders.
Thank you for that. It is the AMP Podcast, Episode 5, The Games People Play. Now, next week, we are going to have a special guest from one of our sponsors.
Quick interruption, James. Carly, feel better. She was supposed to be here today and had to cancel because she's not feeling well. Carly, feel better. We'll see you next week.
So, yeah, sponsors, Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and, of course, Red One Realty. All right, let's jump into one of our key topics for today. We're talking about prospecting. This can certainly be for new agents, but absolutely serve as a reminder for current agents. Things they can do to generate new leads, build their business, look at things like networking groups, associations, etc. What are some of those tools and resources and things that you're talking about from a marketing standpoint, things that you're constantly preaching and reminding agents about in terms of things that they can do to generate business, generate leads, grow their business, etc. Justin, you want to start with that?
So we, as the AMP leadership, had a big discussion about last year. We focused a lot on sphere, right, Mark? We talked ad nauseum about sphere. So,
67% of an agent's business, according to the National Association of Realtors, comes from sphere.
Correct. So we had an AMP leadership meeting the other day, and all 6 of us were really motivated to focus a lot more on prospecting and lead generation. And I'm going to talk real quickly about a couple of ways that I do that. One of my favorite prospecting/lead generation sources is definitely open houses. And we talk about open houses a lot on the AMP platform. Open houses, you know, if you pick a good price range, a property that's in a popular area, you can expect on average 3 to 4 groups of people will come through your open house. If you have the right conversations and make sure you collect their information so you can follow up with them, you're likely to generate business from those interactions with those people. So
without a doubt.
So that's why open houses is definitely top of my list for lead generation, and it's decently low cost as well. Mark talks about building your open house kit. You can watch any open house training that we've done and hear him talk about that in detail, what goes into that. But, you know, I love open houses. What do you think, Mark? When you're prospecting, what's your method?
One of the things that I have always been fond of that is very effective is a geofarm. So James, in our business, geofarming is defined as selecting a community. Perhaps you live there, or you grew up there, or you know of folks that live in the community, a lot of folks that live in the community, or perhaps you live nearby. You're familiar with it. So you identify a community and then identify a method with which you wish to communicate with them. Usually it's a postcard or a door hanger, or perhaps once a year it's the OSU Buckeye schedule. Apologize for those that are not OSU fans. Go Bucks. So you identify a community. You, with Carly Lear, which is interesting that she was going to be here today, she can provide us with the names and addresses of the folks that live on particular streets in the community. And then it's a matter of consistently communicating with that neighborhood and providing them with all the assistance having to do with anything home. Your message could be anything from offering them the opportunity to purchase a home warranty, which well protects a client's home, or what you can do for them when the time comes to list their home and the various services you can offer. But it is a matter of keeping your name and contact information in front of the largest group of people. And if you're familiar with the area, they'll probably already know you. A lot of our agents make their community choice a place that they can walk. So if it's their own community or a community nearby, they walk through the neighborhood and deliver postcards, slide them into the storm door, or deliver the door knockers. Gives you a great opportunity to engage with the neighborhood. And if you consistently, Michelle Brooks, you mentioned her earlier, if you consistently geofarm a particular community over the weeks, months, and years, it will generate a minimum of 3 or 4 transactions every year for the agent. That is how much you can build that connection to that neighborhood. So I like geofarming.
All right, geofarming listeners, write that down. And 3 to 4 a year. That's significant.
I love that. James, have you ever experienced receiving maybe a real estate related postcard or door hanger in your community?
I have, but I have those few that always send the magnets, which I really love. What I'm not liking is that I'm starting to get all of these phone calls of people wanting to
Offering to buy your home?
Yes, and it's an increasingly frustrating because they're out of town buyers and sellers using local phone numbers.
You know that's going to change. They just passed a big FCC's. It's in legislation right now. When it passes, it's going to change the way that we're able to do that kind of stuff. So we're going to keep a close eye on that because it is going to affect our business. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's all good. I mean, one of the weird things that I see that I get are like an agent representing 4 houses within, I don't know, maybe a 15, 20-mile radius. And maybe they're thinking you're wanting to downsize or go up to a bigger home. I don't know, but seems like they're highlighting like things in the area, like almost as if, you don't want to get away from the entertainment and the food and all the stuff that you enjoy in your town, but maybe you want to move to a different locale that's 5 minutes this way or 10 minutes around the corner, something like that. I see more of those cards. Any thoughts on that, what they're trying to do there? Trying to keep you interested in what's around where you are, things that they think you enjoy there, so you don't want to go too far from those creature comforts.
Well, interesting that would not be one of the main drivers.
The one I hear more is job, commute to the job.
It's either job change, school system change.
Yeah.
You make a good point. I've told you the story about leaving the apartment that one morning and going to look at houses. I was headed to the city where I grew up and where my wife grew up for half her life, and then she moved out into the country, so we quickly changed that. But yeah, folks generally want to be somewhere where they've gotten used to the dining and the entertainment and the grocery stores, but I don't know that there's anything that would keep them in a particular area. I do have a question for you. On the postcards that you receive that say just listed or just sold, the one that you received that you mentioned said that here are some of the houses I have listed, and they're sending it to you. The really good marketing point there is it's not for you. It's for you to choose your new neighbor and refer that person to the agent. So that's smart marketing because you're never moving.
So James, the postcard you got, 2 things stuck out to me. One is that agent is representing themselves as the expert in your community, right? You're seeing that these are the properties that they've sold there. They're giving you pricing analysis, so maybe you can compare those houses to your house to give you an idea of what your house is worth and what it would sell for. And they're also, you said it, there's active listings on there too. So maybe you're thinking about moving, or you've got a family member or a cousin or somebody that wants to move into the neighborhood. And so that postcard that they're sending out, I really like that approach. And I think it hits a couple different chords that are great for that type of thing.
And when you talk about open houses, I've always thought, why not have like these brokers or, realty companies, have all their agents. And in this case, you could have all your AMP agents where, everybody's going to see these AMP signs, like an AMP agent sign in a neighborhood where there's 5 or 6 houses for that particular day that you're doing an open house. I'm going to church, I'm going to the grocery store, all of a sudden I'm seeing all these Realty One AMP agent signs, Seems like that would be a good strategy to set aside and do a kind of a blanket marketing open house weekend in certain subdivisions and communities. And everybody's got, I'm an AMP agent with Red One Realty.
That is a really good idea. If you can catch a neighborhood or a community that's got 4 or 5 homes listed in it, and then attempt to corral all of those and ask the listing agent for permission to hold an open house, you could certainly dominate a neighborhood with Red One Realty signs.
Yeah, and along those lines, you could have Red One Realty, but then on the bottom, you could have like an AMP, certified AMP agent or something like that. Do you guys have those types of things now?
Not to date, but that's not a bad idea.
It's a great idea.
And to answer your question, whenever I do an open house, I have 7 directional signs. So when you're pulling into a neighborhood where I have an open house, you're going to see one on every single corner, like you said. And it won't say AMP on it; it'll say Red One with a directional arrow. But yeah, that's typically how we do it.
All right. So note to self, we're going to put that in there for a conversation in the future. We're going to have all of our Red One Realty signs and a little red thing underneath the bottom of those signs that says certified AMP agent, which will get everybody talking. What does it mean to be a certified AMP agent?
James, you're teaching us a lot about marketing. Thank you.
All right. So anything else for prospecting and marketing that we want to focus on, or we'll make sure that we punch and highlight?
For now, we like open houses and geofarming.
Yep.
All right, open houses and geofarming it is. When we come back, going to give you some actionable items, things that you might look to do to increase business like now. Whether you're brand new to real estate or a seasoned 30-plus year veteran like the doctor here, we're going to provide some insights on things that you can start doing today to start improving your business and to become a better marketer of everything and anything involving homes. Thanks for listening to the AMP Podcast. And now a few messages supporting our sponsors.
The Griffith Insurance Group. They're more than just a family business. They're your family safety net. With over 34 years of combined experience, Scott and Jason know everyone is different. That's why they take the time to understand individual situations and craft their coverage that gives you peace of mind. Whether it's protecting your home, your vehicle, or your business, they're here to ensure that you're covered. At the Griffith Insurance Group, they're not just a father-son team. They're trusted partners in safeguarding your future. Experience the difference of a family-focused approach. Contact the Griffith Insurance Group today and let them help you secure your tomorrow. 740-936-4686 is the phone number, and online at griffithinsurance.net. That's griffithinsurance.net.
Red One Realty, an independent brokerage founded in 2019, is redefining what it means to support agents. With nearly 1,000 agents already on board, Red One Realty offers an unbeatable combination of value and opportunity, helping agents close more deals while keeping more of their hard-earned commissions. Red One Realty sets itself apart by its commitment to exceptional training, cutting-edge technology, and unmatched support. From intensive boot camp training to Survive and Thrive training series and the Next Level Agent Mentorship Program, they provide the tools and guidance to help agents grow their business. Plus, with the multiple layers of management always ready to assist, you'll never feel like you're navigating the real estate world alone. Discover why so many agents are choosing Red One Realty to take their career to new heights at joinredonerealty.com. That's joinredonerealty.com.
Hi guys, today's episode is sponsored by Vault Title. At Vault Title, they know your home is more than just four walls. It's your investment, your future, and your dream. With our dedicated team of experts, we provide secure, reliable title and closing services that protect your most valuable asset. From the first handshake to the final signature, Vault Title is here every step of the way, making sure your closing is seamless and stress-free. Vault Title, protecting your dream, safeguarding your future. When it comes to title services, trust that team that puts you first. Vault-title.com. That's VAULT-TITLE.com.
All right, welcome back. It is the AMP Podcast, Episode 5, The Games People Play, sponsored by Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. Your host every week, the Doctor of Real Estate, Mark Dandrea, and Justin Humphreys of Humphreys Homes. My name is James Minter with Buckeye Media Services. Now, we've been talking about marketing, and this is a small pivot, but part of that process. We're going to look at some action items, things you can do to increase your business, build the brand, whether you're brand new to the industry or a seasoned veteran. Stuff you can start doing today to become a better marketer of everything homes. Mark, let's start with you.
Okay. So, James, there's a wide path or swath of folks that are not only on the AMP platform, but that are practicing real estate today. You have agents that have, just gotten their license. You have agents that have been in it for a year or 2 or 10 or 15 or 30 like myself. One of the actionable tips that we talk about a lot on the AMP platform is continue to identify your sphere. Those that like you, know you, and trust you to some level, continue to identify those folks. And here's what I mean by that. We have a lot of newer agents that ask us as leaders, well, where does my business come from initially? And the answer is generally sphere. Now, some folks, maybe they weren't born and raised here in Columbus, or they just moved here a couple years ago. There, of course, are issues with that. But your phone is full of people that you know. Your Facebook is full of people that you know. Where you work is full of people that you know. Where you went to college, where you went to high school, where you go to church. There are a dozen or more areas of your life where the folks that you already know, like, and trust are sitting there waiting for you to connect with them and provide them with the opportunity to utilize you as their buying or selling agent. So let's remind ourselves of all the connections in our lives and be available for those folks and be of utmost assistance in real estate to the people that you're closest to.
Now, I witnessed firsthand one of your agents and a friend of mine, actually, and this was completely unscripted. They don't know I'm going to be talking about. If you want to know the name, I'll tell you that. But anyway, I was watching from afar on how they were interacting with this person. And I could tell from the conversation, just, again, I wasn't trying to dip into the conversation, but they weren't ready yet. And this agent was fine. He's like, hey, you know what? Got any questions on that? Give me a call. Anything else I can help you with? Give me a call. Engaging, being available, but certainly not pushy and not trying to push an agenda, just being there and saying, I'm here when you're ready.
We talked about it last night. We have every other Thursday, we have an AMP coaching session. There were about 20 people involved last night. It was a blast. And I made the statement that I got in trouble for it in the meeting from one of the agents, but I said, has anybody in here ever sold a home? And it's a trick question. I was looking for a no. I got some yeses. And the point was the difference between selling a home to somebody and assisting them to purchase it and bringing the real estate value expertise. There's a big difference in that. So that agent that you were referring to is it's a good agent. We don't control the timing in people's lives that drive them to buy or sell a house. We just need to be available to them when the timing is right for them.
It was just interesting from the weeks that we've had and the episodes and the things that we've talked about and the training that you've addressed that is shared within the AMP platform and the agent mentorship platform, that I could tell it's working out in the field.
Oh, you're talking about an AMP agent.
Yes.
Oh, you're welcome to mention her.
Yeah, it was Johanna.
Shout out Johanna Crozier. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk business until after that. I saw her from afar. She came over. She had that exchange with her prospective client, maybe. And she did not know how long I've known you or that we've been working on this, I don't think.
We're very blessed. We have 6 very focused, dedicated leaders for the AMP platform, and we all walk the walk and talk the talk and work very hard to assist our agents to achieve their vision.
Where did you witness that interaction go down?
Basketball game.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just very natural. Just conversation. She and I started talking, and then he came up, and then they had that exchange that I described. She gave him her card, reiterated a few times. Any questions you have, anything you need, just give me a ring. That was it. But effective.
Beautiful.
Makes perfect sense.
Joanna's a rock star. You know her from
She
her previous career, and I think those skills carry over well into real estate, and you saw a perfect example of that. So good way to go, Johanna.
All right, Justin, back to you. New agents, veteran agents, what are those things that you see, action steps that they can take that will help them to improve their business, something they could implement or start doing or go back to doing again today?
One thing that I love to utilize is my buyer's presentation for buyer's consultation. So when I meet somebody or communicate with somebody and they tell me, hey, Justin, I'm interested to start the process to buy a home, but I don't know where to start. Do I talk to a lender? Do I just go out and start looking at houses? What do I do? The first thing I typically do is I pump the brakes a little bit and say, hey, I'd love to bring you into the office and sit down for about an hour, have a cup of coffee, and just kind of educate you on this process and demystify the home buying process. So I usually invite people to the office. I sit down. I have a nice slideshow that I go through with them that really explains every step that's involved in purchasing a home so that people know what to expect around every corner. And I have a slideshow that I call my buyer's presentation that goes along with that. And I think that utilizing a buyer's presentation is really important because you can touch on all the major topics. Looking for homes, getting pre-approved, how to get your offer accepted, what happens when you're in contract, how do inspections work, all that different stuff can be really explained accurately and effectively through a buyer's presentation. So if you're not using a buyer's presentation, I highly recommend it. If you need help putting it together, reach out to me. We can build that on Canva. There's plenty of templates out there on Etsy that you can buy and use and customize as well. So my buyer's presentation is very essential to the process of when I'm helping people get their buying process started. So I love the buyer's presentation, and I think everybody should use one.
Good stuff. All right, it is the AMP Podcast, Episode 5, Games People Play. Sponsored by Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. The AMP Podcast is an extension of the Agent Mentorship Platform available through Red One Realty. Learn more about that by going to agentmentorshipplatform.com. There are classes, there's training. If you're just getting into the business, you got questions, we'll be giving you Mark and Justin's number before the end of the show. Give them a call. They'll make some time. Go over to the Westerville office. Sit down, drill them. They are more than willing to answer any questions that you might have. Now, for our next segment, which is sponsored by Vault Title, we are going to identify 2 agents, our agent spotlights this week. And Mark, I believe we'll start with you, sir. Who do you got?
Yep. Justin and I and the other leaders talk about this guy all the time. James, we're blessed. We've got, 112 people on our team, on our platform. It's growing monthly. We expect to have a couple hundred people on this platform by the end of the year. And one of those that stands out for me is Joe Wood. Joe and I met, this was probably a year ago. I met him through another AMP agent. Just a great guy, brings a significant and deep toolkit to real estate, very personable, will talk to anybody. And the other thing I love about Joe is we both have a love of classic cars. Joe has a car condo in a community of car condos. And this place is incredible. They have car shows there. So I really admire and respect and appreciate the hard work that Joe Wood puts into assisting people in real estate. So shout out to you, Joe. Thanks so much for being a part of the AMP platform and for being here with Red One. And Justin and I and the other leaders really appreciate you and your hard work.
You mentioned the car condo. Joe is the guy in Powell. If you're looking for, I think they call it Horsepower Farms.
Yep.
If you're looking for a wonderful condo garage set up for your classic car, a place to hang out, a place to work on the cars and be in a community with similar-minded folks, check out Horsepower Farms. Joe Wood's the agent in there if you're interested.
So it's a whole community of people just like classic cars?
Yeah, it's all garage spaces for people. It's got like 40-foot ceilings.
Garage spaces plus. A
Yeah.
lot of these are kind of, they have places for you to sleep, and they've got bathrooms, and they've got kitchens, and they have bars, and it's all cars all the time, and automotive related stuff. And again, it's a fantastic place.
Then on weekends they'll do meets where everybody pulls their cars out, and you can go garage to garage and talk to each person. Joe's told me that people build mezzanines in there where they have bathrooms, kitchenettes, a place to sleep, like Mark said. So, I mean, it's a condo, but it's built for car enthusiasts, a place to keep their classic cars or, sports cars or whatever they want to do in there.
Where are you going with this, brother? I see the look on your face.
Well, I'll definitely throw this first one out there. I'll think about the second one. But I remember going to a party, and there were like 4 or 5 houses all lined up. These guys had all these really nice motorcycles out front. But coming to find out, they all had heated floors in their garages where they would work on the bikes, go over to each other's house, help each other work on their bikes, and then ultimately go riding together.
It's community, man.
Now, the other one, we've had some conversations, maybe off mic even and over a beer or two. But, I know there's communities with people that have certain lifestyles, want to live in that lifestyle. But even along those same lines, people that are just looking for, certain activities, certain clubs, certain ages, certain groups that they want to hang out with, that those communities do exist. And I'm positive people come to you guys all the time saying, I want ABC, I want this lifestyle community, etc.
Of course.
Yeah. I had one come through an open house 2 weeks ago, and she was newly divorced, selling her home in Pickerington, and she wanted to live in a condo community that was active with younger people that had an active lifestyle where everybody was out and about. And the open house I was holding was at the LC community in New Albany, where they have the GOAT. Each LC has a bar called the GOAT that's attached to it. They've got a gym, they've got a pool. So that type of community atmosphere, there's definitely people out there that are interested in certain aspects when they're looking for communities to move to.
Hey, Sam Stark. Sam used to run lifestyle communities. So I had to say hi to Sam.
Shout out to Sam.
Sam and Kim.
All right, let's get back on track. We didn't hit our second agent, right? Our second agent spotlight.
So the other AMP agent we wanted to spotlight this week was Kevin Weekly, the coach, your real estate coach. So Kevin joined the AMP program, about a year ago? I think it's been about 11 months or so. And Kevin is one of the, if I'm not mistaken, one of the basketball coaches here in Central Ohio with the most accolades as far as high school and collegiate go.
He's an outstanding coach.
Yeah. So big shout out to Kevin. Kevin has been doing really well with the AMP program. He's caught on fast and has hit the ground running. He's looking to do investment properties. He's helping buyers and sellers in Central Ohio. In Northern Ohio, he's doing a couple deals in Worcester right now. So, and I love chatting with Kevin, helping him out. So shout out to Kevin Weekly.
2 taglines that we would be remiss if we didn't share these. Joe Wood, Homes by Woody, and Kevin Weekly, your home coach. All of the AMP agents who choose have their own signature tagline. Mine's the Doctor of Real Estate, just in time, Humphreys Homes. You can say it better than I can. But again, Joe Wood, Homes by Woody, and Kevin Weekly, your home coach. Great job, guys. We appreciate you.
Those taglines, that's the brand of you, locking in what you do and making it synonymous with your industry. All right, moving on. So a lot of the information that you hear on the AMP podcast, you can find more details even on the Agent Mentorship Platform website, which is agentmentorshipplatform.com. And something I want to highlight, because a lot of this training, all these extra things that you guys do, especially through Red One Realty and the AMP program, you're really allowing these new agents to accelerate their careers. I mean, I'll go back to Johanna for a second. I think I've talked to her. I know she started going back in June or July, and she had had her license for a while, done some previous things. But I think from like July to December, she either talked to or assisted or sold 13 homes or something like that, which I just thought was a crazy number for a new agent.
She assisted 13 people to either purchase or sell their home.
I think that's awesome. And then with Joe and Kevin, these guys we just mentioned, the agents that we just highlighted, I mean, all of them, what are you seeing, or what are those things that you see that they are picking up through the AMP program as a Red One Realty agent, becoming, I'll say, AMP certified. That's going to be my new thing for you. But anyway, going through the AMP program, getting all this training, this additional training to accelerate their careers by going through and completing some of this additional training that you guys offer through the Agent Mentorship Platform.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you go, and then I'll comment.
So
Thanks,
what I
Justin.
see is people, they come in, they get their real estate license, and a lot of these people just have these skills innately. They just need direction and assistance how to utilize the skills and how to convert those into finding success in their business. And if you're not a part of a mentorship platform or a team, you can try and find success and fail and slip and fall forward over a year or two and maybe find your footing and maybe not. But those agents that do join the AMP program and platform and do join Red One Realty, they find that success much quicker because we've got the template laid out for them and the support that they need to hit the ground running, utilize their skills properly, and find success that much faster.
James, people choose to get their real estate license and enter the field of practicing real estate for many, many different reasons. We just happen to be talking about 3 that have a very high level of passion for real estate, a high level of passion for being of assistance to people, make themselves available, communicate well, grow trust in their relationship as well. I believe that we would find, if we did the research, that these folks are working with folks that they already know, and that know them and like them and trust them, or the folks that they already know. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. This business is a relationship business. Justin and I have said it before. I'll repeat it one more time here. This business will, and I'll use never. This business will never be all online. There are personal interactions that must take place and relationships that must grow in order for the trust in this extraordinarily important transaction in someone's life that needs to be handled personally. And Joe and Kevin and Joanna are just 3 examples of dozens and dozens and dozens on the Agent Mentorship platform of folks that have those high levels of passion and need to be of assistance or desire to be of assistance.
Yes, kudos to Johanna and Joe and Kevin. Keep doing what you guys are doing, and we are going to keep doing what we're doing, giving you some information, everything about real estate, real life, and anything and everything in between when the AMP podcast continues. When we come back, we are going to ask the coach questions that Justin and the doctor field from agents in the field almost daily, almost 24/7. Maybe some of those questions that they are posing to Mark and Justin, we'll find out after this quick commercial break.
Hi guys, today's episode is sponsored by Vault Title. At Vault Title, they know your home is more than just four walls. It's your investment, your future, and your dream. With our dedicated team of experts, we provide secure, reliable title and closing services that protect your most valuable asset. From the first handshake to the final signature, Vault Title is here every step of the way, making sure your closing is seamless and stress-free. Vault Title, protecting your dream, safeguarding your future. When it comes to title services, trust that team that puts you first. Vault-title.com. That's VAULT-TITLE.com.
Red One Realty, an independent brokerage founded in 2019, is redefining what it means to support agents. With nearly 1,000 agents already on board, Red One Realty offers an unbeatable combination of value and opportunity, helping agents close more deals while keeping more of their hard-earned commissions. Red One Realty sets itself apart by its commitment to exceptional training, cutting-edge technology, and unmatched support. From intensive boot camp training to Survive and Thrive training series and the Next Level Agent Mentorship Program, they provide the tools and guidance to help agents grow their business. Plus, with the multiple layers of management always ready to assist, you'll never feel like you're navigating the real estate world alone. Discover why so many agents are choosing Red One Realty to take their career to new heights at joinredonerealty.com. That's joinredonerealty.com.
The Griffith Insurance Group. They're more than just a family business. They're your family safety net. With over 34 years of combined experience, Scott and Jason know everyone is different. That's why they take the time to understand individual situations and craft their coverage that gives you peace of mind. Whether it's protecting your home, your vehicle, or your business, they're here to ensure that you're covered. At the Griffith Insurance Group, they're not just a father-son team. They're trusted partners in safeguarding your future. Experience the difference of a family-focused approach. Contact the Griffith Insurance Group today and let them help you secure your tomorrow. 740-936-4686 is the phone number, and online at griffithinsurance.net. That's GRIFFITHINSURANCE.net.
Welcome back to the AMP Podcast, Episode 5, The Games People Play. We'll have more on that before the end of the show. Get ready to roll into our Ask the Coaches. These are going to be questions that a lot of the agents in the field will just toss out to Mark and Justin and other members of the team. Maybe it's a question about a contract or a procedure, something that they should do, or a question that the client might have that they don't have the answer for, and then they'll reach out to, again, Mark, Justin, or members of the team. And we've said it in previous weeks, and I know that Mark and Justin want to make sure that they make themselves available for you for a couple of reasons. If you're an agent interested in possibly becoming a Red One Realty agent, or brand new and looking for a career and want to just, pick their brain to find out if becoming a real estate agent or a marketer of home services is something that you might have an interest in. So let's get you their information. Mark, let's go with you first.
Sure. Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate with Red One Realty. You can reach me at 614-395-6275 or shoot me an email at doctorofrealestate1@gmail.com, and that's all spelled out. doctorofrealestate1@gmail.com.
And Mr. Humphreys?
And my contact information, you can always call or text me at 740-275-1277 or email me, Justin at Humphreys-homes.com. And as always, you can find all of us AMP leaders at agentmentorshipplatform.com.
Well, as you might be able to hear on some of that vibration there, and maybe you've heard it throughout the podcast, and you hear it sometimes in the other episodes as well, but they do get text all the time during the show, and it's by design. I mean, they make themselves available. We jokingly say almost 24/7. But for those that are going through the AMP program, the Agent Mentorship Platform, leadership team, you do make yourselves available. I've watched it. It's happening now. Let's talk about that and just how accessible not only just the two of you are, but other members of the team and that support system that exists for anybody that's coming on board to become part of Red One Realty. Justin, you want to elaborate on that?
So under the Circle platform that's exclusive to AMP agents, there is a chatbot feature where they can click it and type in a question, and any of the leaders can jump in and ask their question. We have a response time is about 30 seconds on the chatbot, and it's been really effective, and our agents love it. A question that just came on was, good morning. When seller and buyer are unable to agree on remedies, the seller termination form is used, correct? Question mark. And do I have to wait until it's signed by the buyers before putting it back on the market? The buyer's agent did send the full inspection report. Am I required to send the full report to the seller?
Okay. So based upon I need some context. Our agent has the buyer or the seller?
The seller, I believe.
Our agent has the seller. So the sellers are unable to come together with the buyers. There's not a meeting of the minds on the remedy request.
Correct.
It is the buyer's agent and the buyer's responsibility to send over the mutual release, if it is applicable, if there's been earnest money collected, and a termination. And the termination would state for inspection purposes, as long as all of that takes place within the number of days indicated on the contract. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
the buyer's agent,
the buyer's agent generates that process.
Correct.
They send the inspection report and the remedy request within the inspection time frame. Then the response from the seller needs to take place within the negotiated remedy request time frame. And if you're unable to do that, the buyer only has two choices: one, terminate, or two, waive their right to remedies and move to closing.
Great answering that question, Mark. We've got a second question that just came in. Racine Reingold, a great agent of ours in AMP, does a lot of business in the Mansfield area. She reached out and asked, what are some cool and innovative social media post ideas? So I do a lot with social media, and what comes to mind for me on this, Mark, you can tell me what you think about it. What I'm seeing a lot lately that's getting a lot of traction that realtors are utilizing on their social media is community highlights. So a real estate agent will go out. Let's take Westerville, for example. If I was an agent doing content in Westerville, I would go to Java Central, the coffee shop right there on North State Street in Uptown Westerville. And I would just kind of, take my cell phone in there with my gimbal stabilizer and just shoot a video of me going in, ordering a coffee, sitting down, drinking it, talking about some of the great highlights of Uptown Westerville and featuring Java Central as a community highlight. So that would be my opinion of a cool and innovative social media post that a lot of agents are using right now that get traction from the local community.
I like that a bunch. And one of the key things with social media and those types of videos is a theme. So that particular theme is, small business, and you're making a connection there. So I would enhance that and make sure it's a theme. We have an agent right now who is rehabbing their home, and he's been posting pictures and videos of the various stages of that rehab project and is getting a lot of traction on social media from that. So I love that idea. It has something to do with the community. It lifts up a small local business, and it connects you, the agent, with the community as a whole. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, and your coffee shop thing, I mean, you could literally walk down Uptown Westerville and say, if you like the small town feel like this, I got some homes in the area. Moving on to our next segment, which is kind of the new segment. It's called the Market Pulse. Now, keep in mind with this segment, these numbers can change, every day. Interest rates especially, it fluctuates. So just keep an eye on the market, or talk to your real estate agent, or give Mark or Justin a call. They'll know them every single day. I promise you. The doctor is less than 1% away most of the time, and less than 10 houses away on most of these numbers. But the Market Pulse, sponsored by Griffith Insurance Group. Justin, are you going to lead the charge on this today?
So today's interest rates for a 30-year conventional fixed mortgage sits right at 7.13%. I know a couple of my preferred lenders are kind of touting that they could probably get you in a little bit closer to 7. They just dropped yesterday. Yesterday they were at 7.26. So we saw a significant drop yesterday after a job report that came out.
Right between 6.5 on FHA and around 7 on conventional. And what's interesting to me about that, I don't know that you would hear this on social media or from the national news media. If you can stretch way back to the fall of 2023, interest rates were approaching 9.
Yeah.
So it's a significant decrease. Those that purchased homes then have certainly refinanced by now. Interest rates are certainly on a more of a downward trend than upward. So that's a great point.
Again, numbers change depending on when and where you're listening to this podcast. But the other thing that most real estate agents, all real estate agents, are keeping an eye on, especially Mark, Justin, and their team at Red One Realty, inventory in the market. Central Ohio area, nationwide. Mark, you got those numbers?
Current market is about 3,700 houses on the market. In the last few months, that has gone between 4,400 and down as low as the 3,700 now. Significantly more homes on the market than in months past from early of 2024 and behind. And they were then averaging about 2,400 homes. Great opportunity for buyers. Sellers are still getting value. And we would expect that those numbers will stay between 4,000 and 5,000 or right around there for the foreseeable future.
Now, when you're looking at inventory, and I know this was a while ago, but I mean, there was a period of time where houses were literally on the market, coming on the market, going off the market, 7 to 10 days, 2 weeks, or less. Things I think have balanced out, changed, but when markets shift like that, or when those types of things happen, what's realistically now, where are we in terms of how quickly that inventory is moving?
Let's talk about that. We definitely want our listening audience to understand the kind of the reset. Over 2 years ago and backwards, James, that was when that was happening. Since I would say early of 2024, Justin, if you would agree, the market has adjusted. It hasn't slowed by any stretch. Certainly hasn't sped up. You know my feelings on seller's market versus buyer's market. Those terms, I don't like them. The market is always adjusting. There's always a home out there for a buyer, and there's always a seller out there wanting to sell their home. So it certainly has settled in right around, as I said, that 4,000. And days on the market, Justin, right around?
Right now, on average, days on market's about 31 days.
Okay.
And that's up from the summer. It was hovering around 24 to 26 days. So it's up a little bit right now.
And the way they track that, James, is from the day a home goes live on the market or coming soon, from that point to when it goes into contract is what that means. Closings will be beyond that 31 days. Last year, that was probably down in the teens, 12, 13, 14 days.
Yeah.
But the market adjusts.
Yeah, and it's really, I feel like, and Mark, you can chime in on this, right now it's really neighborhood specific too.
For sure.
Because if you still got a very sought after neighborhood, places in Grove City and New Albany and Dublin and Powell and in an affordable area that's really popular where a lot of people are looking to move because of the school district or because of the pricing. I listed a condo in Delaware last week and it was on the market for a day and we went into contract. So that is still happening, but it's more nuanced and it's more in specific areas rather than the whole market or the whole community as a whole.
Justin and I and the other leaders and all of the AMP team members and all agents will pull up stats for a particular community. If we have a buying client interested or a selling client interested in selling their home or a buying client interested in buying in that community. And it's very interesting to see when you pull up a comparative market analysis and there's 10 or 12 houses that have sold. To me, it's interesting to look at those and note those that sold in 2 or 3 days versus those that took 25 or 30 or 35 days. There's always a reason for that, but everything averages out, and days on market has adjusted, and it's just one of those 3 factors that we track all the time.
And I make it a point now when I'm sitting down for a listing consultation or preparing somebody to help them list their home, I make it a point to have that conversation with them.
Absolutely.
Hey, this is not 2022. The interest rates aren't at 3%. So, we can expect, I expect to have your home in contract within 21 to 30 days,
right?
Realistically.
Yep.
And if it happens sooner, then we're all happy.
Absolutely.
Very good. It is the AMP Podcast. The games people play is the episode. Talked a little bit about marketing earlier, things that you can do to stay focused on building your business. Let's go a little bit deeper on that and just talk about just your overall mental mindset. I know, Mark, you've talked about how much Aaron helps you to stay organized and keep you going forward. Justin, what are some of those things you're talking with the agents, but things that you apply yourself or things that you share with agents that you have found to be helpful to keeping you in the right mindset, keeping you focused on moving forward on goals?
For me, I like to go back to I have a spreadsheet. It's a performance spreadsheet that tracks certain goals that I want to hit throughout the week. And if I'm feeling a little bit lost or a little bit like my path is wavered or anything like that, I can always reference back to, you could use your business plan. If you have a goal sheet, if you do a vision board, your why matters. So reference back to your why if you're feeling like you're a little bit discombobulated or lost track a little bit.
Makes perfect sense. I divided it into 3 categories. Have a vision every year. Start in the fall the year before and create your vision for in this case, the commissions that you want to earn. And then put a plan in place. And then the third thing I think is the most important when it comes to your mindset is block out time to perform your duties. James, we're all so busy, right? Family, faith, even if it's in yourself, social life, and many agents have a job outside of real estate, which is fine. So you've got to block time. So have a vision, have a plan, execute on the plan, and block out time to execute on the plan. Stay organized in that regard. If you can break it out into those 3 segments. And sure, share your vision with someone in your life that can be of assistance to you. With me, it happens to be my wife. Every 15 days, we get together and we go through my whole business. Every place that anybody exists within my business, my database, Bold Trail, Dot Loop, social media, and we just recap where do we stand with our sphere of influence. So stay organized, block time.
And we talked about, a lot of husbands and wives, partners that are teams within the real estate industry, helping each other stay focused, helping each other stay accountable, helping each other stay on task.
Well, we talked about it earlier. There's 112 people on this platform. We all help each other. You've got 6 leaders. We're here to be of assistance to the agents. Have that support. And Red One is an outstanding brokerage. They create that atmosphere of support.
Well, let's talk about just couples that are agents that are on the AMP team. We've got Brian and Tony Leckinter.
KK Home Team.
We've got Kate and Kenny Hazel.
Yep, Kate and Kenny.
We've got
Joanna and Aaron
now, and there's another one that I was just thinking about that.
Revamped Homes is Tony and
we've
Brian.
got one of our AMP leaders, Dana Kitchen, and her
Dana
partner,
Kitchen and
Richard
Rich.
Tilley.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of couples actually within the AMP team that practice that, what you were just talking about, James.
Yep.
All right, up to our final break and going into our final segments. The title of this week's episode, The Games People Play. We'll close out this week's episode with our final segment after this.
The Griffith Insurance Group. They're more than just a family business. They're your family safety net. With over 34 years of combined experience, Scott and Jason know everyone is different. That's why they take the time to understand individual situations and craft their coverage that gives you peace of mind. Whether it's protecting your home, your vehicle, or your business, they're here to ensure that you're covered. At the Griffith Insurance Group, they're not just a father-son team. They're trusted partners in safeguarding your future. Experience the difference of a family-focused approach. Contact the Griffith Insurance Group today and let them help you secure your tomorrow. 740-936-4686 is the phone number, and online at griffithinsurance.net. That's griffithinsurance.net.
Red One Realty, an independent brokerage founded in 2019, is redefining what it means to support agents. With nearly 1,000 agents already on board, Red One Realty offers an unbeatable combination of value and opportunity, helping agents close more deals while keeping more of their hard-earned commissions. Red One Realty sets itself apart by its commitment to exceptional training, cutting-edge technology, and unmatched support. From intensive boot camp training to Survive and Thrive training series and the Next Level Agent Mentorship Program, they provide the tools and guidance to help agents grow their business. Plus, with the multiple layers of management always ready to assist, you'll never feel like you're navigating the real estate world alone. Discover why so many agents are choosing Red One Realty to take their career to new heights at joinredonerealty.com. That's joinredonerealty.com.
Hi guys, today's episode is sponsored by Vault Title. At Vault Title, they know your home is more than just 4 walls. It's your investment, your future, and your dream. With our dedicated team of experts, we provide secure, reliable title and closing services that protect your most valuable asset. From the first handshake to the final signature, Vault Title is here every step of the way, making sure your closing is seamless and stress-free. Vault Title, protecting your dream, safeguarding your future. When it comes to title services, trust that team that puts you first. vault-title.com. That's VAULT-TITLE.com.
We're back. It's the AMP Podcast. It is an extension of the Agent Mentorship Platform. You can get more information on that by going to agentmentorshipplatform.com. You just heard our commercial message for Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. Thanks to those guys. And before we nail down our final questions, thought I'd give you another opportunity to share your personal contact info. Justin?
So you can call or text me at 740-275-1277 or reach me at justin@humphreys-homes.com.
Mark Dandrea, 614-395-6275, or email me at drofrealestate1@gmail.com, spelled out.
All right, final question. The episode is the games people play, and that's what I'm looking for. Either my wife and I, we watch Game Show Network all the time. We like to play family games on the kitchen table. So my question to you, gentlemen, growing up, maybe even now, favorite game shows you like to watch, or maybe your favorite board game you used to like to play, or maybe like to play now?
So on TV, it was the $25,000 Pyramid with Dick Clark. Love that show. We also have the board game that we play, and it gets very heated. But love the $25,000 Pyramid as it relates to game shows on TV. And favorite games growing up, man, that's tough. It has to be Sorry. When my mom would play with me and my sister and my brother, or we'd have friends over. So from my childhood, Sorry.
Justin?
All right, so I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, and at that time, Nickelodeon was a very popular channel for kids my age. And it was like the NBC for kids. We had our version of SNL, which was called All That. My favorite one, which was a game show, was called Legends of the Hidden Temple. And it's a game show where they would go through these fun games and activities. It was based in like this Aztec temple kind of environment. At the end, they would climb the crag. It was just like this big mountain where things would fly off at them. And that was my favorite growing up. So that was my favorite game show. As far as card games.
Or board games.
My family, we love playing Uno. But just recently, Melissa Yoakum, who's also on the AMP team, we were at a family function together, and we played a game of spades, but it was with these little domino pieces that had numbers on them, and you have them all on the table together, and you can chain them and steal from other people. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. I'll have to bring it back for another episode. But it was like a version of spades, but it was played on a table with chips that had numbers on them. So it wasn't domino, it wasn't spades. It was kind of like a mixture of the two of them.
Love it. What about you, James?
So many options. I love board games. I love card games. I love watching games on TV. I'm going to go Jeopardy, Spades, and Monopoly.
Oh, it was a version of Rummy is what the one I was referring to. But
Yeah.
Same thing. When I go back home, my grandmother, we stay up late. We play gin rummy in the kitchen on the table.
Every holiday party, we set up a euchre table. If we're just going to start throwing out stuff that we love,
Yeah.
euchre is a blast.
All right. Thanks for listening to the AMP Podcast. Thanks to our wonderful sponsors, Vault Title, Griffith Insurance Group, and Red One Realty. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all your favorite podcast libraries. And drop by the website for more information, agentmentorshipplatform.com. Close out the show with an inspirational quote, this one from Bear Bryant. It's not the will to win, but the will to prepare that makes the difference.
Love that.
That rings true to me.
On behalf of Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate, Justin Humphreys of Humphreys Homes, I'm James Minter with Buckeye Media Services. Take care. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, James.
Have a great day, James.